7th, we're at the residence of the late Mr. T. Roosevelt Butler, who resided at 1136 Armstrong. This was his house where a lot of things that went on in the area where he lived. We're going to take some shots of his house because a lot of things happened that affected this city at this house, at this residence. Mr. Butler took great pride not only in the house where he lived. He had an upstairs portion of the house where teachers who were teaching at the schools when they were all African Americans and could not rent apartments, teachers stayed here in the upstairs department. Mr. Butler was probably one of Wyandotte County's most popular citizens. He served as licensed inspector for a number of years for the city of Kansas City, Kansas, and he retired from that position. But when he retired, he didn't just go home to sit down. He became the administrator of Douglas Hospital, and because of the tremendous amount of work that he did in the Quindaro area, a skilled nursing home built in that area was named the Bryant Butler Kitchen Skilled Nursing Facility. Mr. Butler was very active in fraternal circles. He was a 33rd degree Mason and very, very active in the church where he belonged, the Mason Memorial United Methodist Church, where he served as an officer and in many other capacities. Mr. Butler, at this residence, which if you look at, just looking at the pictures, it would appear that the things that he did here on Halloween could not occur. But on Halloween, Mr. Butler would have in the front yard, there would be caskets and there would be all type of things that would depict Halloween. And children came from all over Wyandotte County to see the things that he had. In the driveway, he would have caskets that he would borrow from the funeral homes, and he would have things that would depict dead people, and it was scary, but children came from all over to look at this event, and this was by the thousands, and he would give out candy and popcorn with the assistance of some of the persons who were a member of his lodge. Many of us, including myself, not only brought our children, we brought our grandchildren, so he served different number of children from different ages. Mr. Butler financed this. He told me that in order to do this, he would sell fireworks leading up to the 4th of July. He would take part of his vacation, and about 2 weeks before, when you could first begin to sell fireworks, he would operate a fireworks stand on 10th Street, and he would pay for this event that he would have on Halloween with the proceeds that he had received. And he would jokingly said, I would undersell anybody that was in the area. Mr. Butler's house is located right across from the blind school, so in the daytime during Halloween, he would invite the children from the blind school who would come over and view, come over and take a look, come over and feel the things that were here. It was quite a moving event that when you would see Mr. Butler and see the things that he would do. He was known by most people. He was recognizable wherever he went. Very active and very integral part of this community. One of the stories I asked Mr. Butler, when you first moved up here, tell me about it. And this is when I first heard the term Strugglers Hill. Mr. Butler was a graduate of Sumner High School. He also attended the University of Kansas, and he joined the Navy during the Second World War. He said, Chester, when I came back from the Navy, I got married and I wanted to build my house. So I built the house, and it cost $5,000. And persons told me, Rosie, you will never finish paying for that house. Not only did he pay for it, but he did a lot of things, donated his time, talent, and money to enhance this community. He said when he moved up here, that people said that if you moved on the hill, you had to struggle. And it was called Struggles Hill. That was the first time that I had heard that term. And since I began after that to ask people who lived up here, and they said yes, it was called Struggles Hill. But I first heard the term from Mr. T. Roosevelt Butler, one of the most outstanding residents not only of the Struggles Hill area, but of Wyandotte County. We certainly miss Mr. T. Roosevelt Butler.